Harlequin Special Releases and HarlequinAudio present Sanctuary by Brenda Novak, performed by Tanya Sari. Prologue. The Birthplace, Enchantment, New Mexico, June 1993. Lydia Kane had keen, shrewd eyes. Hope Tanner stared into them, drawing strength from the older woman as another pain racked her. The contractions were coming close together now, and hard, much harder than before. Her legs shook in reaction, whether from pain or fear, she didn't know. She didn't feel as though she knew much about anything. She was barely 17. "That's it," Lydia said from the foot of the bed. "You're getting there now. Just relax, honey, and breathe." "I want to push," Hope panted. Though the baby wasn't overdue, Hope was more than anxious to be finished with the pregnancy. Lydia had put some sort of hormonal cream inside her, on what she called a cervix. The older woman said it would send her into labor. But the baby was proving stubborn. The pains had started, on and off, at sundown, and only now, when it was nearly 4 o'clock in the morning, were they getting serious. More of God's punishment, Hope decided. She'd run away from the brethren, refused to do what her father said was God's will, and this was the price she had to pay. "Don't push yet," Lydia said firmly. "You're not fully dilated, and we don't want you to tear. Try to rest while I see what that last contraction did." Hope stared at the ceiling as Lydia checked the baby's progress. She was tired of all the poking and prodding, but she would never say so. Lydia might think her ungrateful. After being alone for most of her pregnancy, wandering aimlessly from town to town, Hope wasn't about to do anything to anger the one person who'd taken her in. Lydia was so decisive, so strong. As much as Hope loved and admired her, she feared her a little too. Lydia owned the birth center and had to be 60 years old, but she wasn't a soft, sweet, grandmotherly type. Certainly nothing like Hope's own patient mother. Tall and angular, with steel-gray eyes and hair, Lydia often spoke sharply, seemed to know everything in the world, and had the ability to make other people, and apparently even events, bend to her will. She took command like Hope's father, which was an amazing concept. Hope hadn't known women could possess so much power. "Is everything okay?" Hope asked, weak, shaky, exhausted. "Everything's fine." As Lydia helped her to a few more ice chips, the pendant she always wore, a mother cradling an infant, swayed with her movements and caught Hope's attention. Hope had long coveted that pendant. She craved the nurturing and love it symbolized. But she knew she'd never experience holding her own child so close. Not this child, anyway. After mopping Hope's forehead, Lydia went back to massaging one of her feet. Lydia claimed that pressing on certain points in the foot could ease pain. She called it reflexology, but if reflexology was helping, Hope certainly couldn't tell. To her, its only value seemed to be in providing a slight distraction. "It shouldn't be long now," Lydia assured her, but she kept glancing at the clock as though she was late for something and as eager for the baby to be born as Hope. "I'd transfer you to the hospital if I was the least bit worried," she continued in the same authoritative voice. "This is dragging on, I know, but the baby's heartbeat is strong and steady, and you're progressing. First babies often take a while." Lydia had once mentioned that she'd been a midwife for more than 30 years. Certainly after all that time, she knew what she was talking about. But Hope was inclined to trust her regardless of her professional experience. It was men who always failed her. Another contraction gripped her body. Biting back a tormented moan, she clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. She didn't know how much more she could take. It felt as if someone had a knife and was stabbing her repeatedly in the abdomen. Except for the music playing quietly in the background, the place was quiet. Parker Reynolds, the administrator, and the other midwives and clerical people who worked at the center were long gone. They'd left before Lydia had even induced her. She and Lydia were the only ones at the birthplace. With its scented candles, soft lighting, and soothing music, the room was meant to be comfortable and welcoming, like home. But this room, with its turquoise and peach wallpaper, Spanish tile floor, and wooden shutters at the window, was
Sample complete. Ready to continue?